Yo, what's going on, man? Y'all already know what it is, man. You're locked in with another episode of Sports Talk with your boy Reezy Rome, man. Been so much things going on in the league, so much we got to catch up on, man. The playoffs are finally here, man, and they've taken all us by surprise, man. Uh, who would have thought that the Patriots would not be still in the playoffs right now? Who would have thought that the Saints will not be in the playoffs right now? But they're not. They both was upset at home by Tennessee Titans and by the Minnesota Vikings, two of the lower seeds in both conferences. And they came in and played ball, man. I expected it to be a good game with my team, New England. I expected that it'd be a good game. I knew it wasn't going to be a walk in the park, but I didn't expect for us to lose. I knew it'd be a tough game, but I didn't expect us to lose. Now, the Saints game, man, that right there threw me for a loop. Like, I did not expect that. But I had a friend, man, my boy KC3 from the LBC, reached out to me and told me, right before that game that he felt Minnesota would win. But this is a guy who is not really engaged in the NFL and sports like that. So he just went off of what he felt and what he thought would happen. And sure enough, he was exactly right, man. They went in there, handled business. I knew that game was going to be like a rocky game when I seen how well Dalvin Cook was able to run that ball. I knew then, like, oh boy, because the whole year the Saints hadn't really allowed a running back to just have an explosive game on him, and he came out first round, the wild card playoffs, running like he was. I knew then. I said, boy, might be a long game, man. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, it was. But I still think the Saints got robbed at the end again with the pass interference call. It was clearly a push off by your boy Rudolph, the tight end for Minnesota, but they didn't call it. But we're not going to cry with spilled milk. It happened. They didn't call it. We moving on. Minnesota moving on to the divisional round. So it was a lot of great games this week. You had the Texans, playing the Bills. Bills came out hot, man. I thought the Bills had it. Thought they knew what they wanted to do. I thought McDormand had that team together, and them boys was gonna come in there and rock them Texans in Houston, and get on and go on about their business with the win. But man, look at here, them Texans, got that energy built up from that crowd, and they put it all together, man, just in the nick of time, and start. The offense started rolling, the defense started clicking. Before you know it, it was tied up. Them boys was going into overtime, and I still was thinking like, okay, maybe Buffalo got it. You know what I'm saying? They'll put something together. They know what they need to do, and they'll get it. And sure enough, man, they didn't do it, man, and they end up losing. But I didn't like a specific call that was made in that game that caused, to me, the Buffalo Bills the game, and they called it a crackback when the dude was clearly running and the other dude came and hit him. But the dude seen him. I mean, it wasn't no crackback. It was nothing vicious about the hit, nothing. And I just felt like that was some BS, and I just felt like that cost them the game. I've played this game before. I know all about it. And I just think the direction the league is heading in, they might as well have flags out there playing football, man. I mean, let's be for real, man, because every little thing is being called. You're not letting these guys play football. And the last time I checked, football is football. You can't change football. You already know what it is that you setting up for, that you're signing up for when you sign up for football. So my thing is, how come we're overreacting as if this stuff is like not what goes on in football? And this stuff is causing teams to lose games, man. I mean, let's be for real. And I feel so bad for the Buffalo Bills because that key call set them back, got them out of field goal range, and took the game from them. And, shout out to the Texans. I ain't taking nothing from them, but That right there alone lost the game for the Buffalo Bills. But nevertheless, the Texans won. They're heading to Kansas City next week, where it's going to be a great game. Deshaun Watson versus Pat Mahomes, two of the four black quarterbacks that are still in the NFL, in the playoffs. I'm so proud of those guys. Then you got Baltimore will be facing Tennessee. It's going to be a great AFC game. People already know that Baltimore should win this one, but I've been telling everybody, don't get too far ahead of yourself. Tennessee ain't no slouch, bro. Straight up, like Tennessee run the ball and they play good defense. Run the ball and playing good defense is two great formulas for winning a Super Bowl. In the playoffs, everybody's equal now. You're 0-0. You win or you go home. It ain't no, yeah, we got tomorrow. No. So in the playoffs, the best formula for winning it and winning it all is defense and running the ball. And Tennessee does a great job at that. So I'm not just sitting here saying, yeah, Tennessee going to go and beat the Ravens. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is it's going to be a great game. And if Tennessee can pull up the upset, don't be surprised. Don't look crazy. Because Tennessee ain't no slouch, man. Tennessee a good football team. They reached out to Tannehill, brought Tannehill in, which to me has been the best pickup the whole offseason. I mean, those guys are still playing ball. Mariota, they pulled the plug on him, which was a good thing because Mariota wasn't going to get him there. Tannehill stepped in, did what they asked him. Look where they at, the end of the divisional round. And then they're being coached by Mike Vrabel, who is a prodigy of Bill Belichick. So anytime Bill Belichick, ex-coaches or ex-players or anybody is coaching that they're going against, you got to be mindful that they're going to pull out some tricks. Like the old Bill Belichick. Like that's just in their blood. And if you think that I'm telling a tale or telling a story, just look at the game when we played Tennessee. Mike Vrabel used some strategies against us that we would normally do against somebody. And in reality and eventually, it cost us the game. It cost us to not have enough time for Brady and company to go down and try to put up a score and win the game. It forced us to rush, and forcing us to rush and rush the offense, rush the pick six. Brady threw a pick six, ended the game. It was over after that. Nothing else can be said. But it was just the brilliancy of Mike Vrabel, understanding the game, understanding that moment and that time of the game and what he needed to do to keep us off the field and chew the clock. And he did that, man. And I salute him because it was chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? And we always tell, that's the saying, it's chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? This was a grown man's game. And he brought out his grown man tools. You know, he brought out his grown man thinking cap. And he really put it to Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick, at the end of the day, I know probably, ticked off, but at the end of the day, he got to respect it because this come from you. This is every spitting image of what Bill Belichick would normally do. And now someone beat him at his own game. It's kind of awkward, but at the end of the day, it's a fair game. So shout out to the Tennessee Titans, man. They handed us a butt whooping, man. And I can't take nothing from them, man. That defense played. The offense showed up with Derrick Henry, them, man. That boy was running that ball. And that man, a man child. I keep saying that he's a man child. And Derrick Henry, if he continues to run that ball like that, it's going to be a tough time on beating Tennessee because they play great defense and they're going to run the ball. They're going to stick to who they are, and that's how you win. Don't try to be nothing else. Be who you are. It's the playoffs. It's win or go home, and you got to win or you going home. And Tennessee is showing that they want to win, and they're going to stay down. But, man, we're going to jump over to the other conference, man, where we had some great games, man, in Seattle and went traveling up there to Philly, had a great game, man. I really had Philly in this game. I thought Philly had got their pieces and everything together at the right time and was ready to come into their stadium and beat Seattle, because they had already played them early in the season, and it was like a ball game, like 9-17, a great game. Not too much offense, a lot of defense, and I just felt like they knew exactly who they were up against, and that they was coming that game, and they would know what they need to do and do it and win the game. And sure enough, man, the game was, back and forth, and boom, Carson Wentz get hurt. And I'm just like, man, I know everybody else who like Philly in this game was like thinking the same, like, man, what's going on? Like, got knocked out the game, concussion protocol. He didn't show back up. Now you're forced to, finish the game with your backup, who ain't really played all season. This the playoffs. Like, come on, man, that don't even look good. So it was a hurtful feeling, man. Me personally, I felt like Clowney should have been disqualified, got kicked out the game, because even though Carson Wentz had, placed himself as a runner on that play, he was already down. This still is a quarterback. Your guys' league and your policy and your rules and everything is to protect the quarterback at all times. And even though he was a runner, I felt like as he was going down, he was down. But Clowney came over with the elbow and went straight to his head, crashed his head into the ground. It was over after that, man. Had a head injury. They ended up keeping him out, just for safety and things like that. But it cost the Eagles the game, if you ask me, because there were so many times in that game where the Eagles offense had a chance to just take over the game, put points on the board, take the lead, and they just never did. And I just felt like all of that was because of the quarterback play. I mean, come on, man. If you feel comfortable putting up points and driving down the field with your starter or your backup, I mean, it's just common sense here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. And I just felt like having that backup and not their starter didn't give them no chance to win that game. And nevertheless, they lost. Seattle won. Now they'll be traveling up to Green Bay next week and playing Aaron Rodgers and those Packers, man. That's going to be a good game. I know it's probably going to be snowing. Aaron Rodgers and them Packers, man, they in there and they're doing their thing, and I'm not taking nothing from them, but I just don't really, I don't know, I don't see them like that, man. After what San Francisco did to them early in the season, it just kind of opened up holes to me for that team. And I just think that they just can't, I just don't think they're ready fully. Like, I don't think they're ready. But I could be wrong, because anything can happen in Green Bay. When you go to Lambeau, anything can happen. And Seattle got to come in and be ready to play, because them Packers are going to play off the strength that they're in Lambeau and they're playing in front of their home crowd. It's just going to be turned up. It's going to be a playoff atmosphere. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a great game, man. I look forward to seeing a great game. Two great quarterbacks. One potentially could be an MVP this year in Russell Wilson. And, man, it's just going to be a great game to see. Then, like I said earlier, you had the Vikings beating the Saints in their hometown. So now the Vikings will travel to play San Francisco in a very hostile environment. But I look at this thing, man, like, and I'm thinking, like, could the Vikings really pull it off? Like, I don't know, man. Because I'm thinking, like, Kirk Cousins has been, like, arguably, I mean, playing lights out lately, bro. Like, and this past weekend when he played those Saints, this whole season, if you don't know, he's been getting criticized by not showing up in big games. And they were showing his stats and his records and big games, and they suck, man. Trust me, I'm not gonna lie, they suck. But then you come into this game into New Orleans, hostile environment, possibly, well, not possibly, a lot of folks' favorite to win the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Come in being doubted, being the underdog, and you play lights out. You get the W. See, a team like this right now can easily get on the roll, man. Be those teams like that, man, that get on the roll and take off, man. And it's wide open for them. They can easily go out there to San Francisco and win that game. I'm not taking nothing from them. I'm not taking nothing from 49ers. I'm just a fan, and I can't wait to see it. But I just know it's going to be a great game. And they're going to both teams are going to run the ball. Both teams are going to play good defense. So whoever wins, we're going to see. But honestly, I do feel that the 49ers will pull it off. But, you know, it's up for grabs. I'm going to just tell you that now. And then when you jump over into the AFC side, you got the Titans going to Baltimore. Then you got the Chiefs playing at home against the Texans. Now, honestly, I feel like the Chiefs got this one. They'll beat the Texans, move on to the AFC Championship, where I feel like they'll play Baltimore. Now, to stir some things up, if Tennessee go beat Baltimore, Chiefs beat Texans, now you got a Chiefs-Titans matchup in Arrowhead, which is going to be a slobber knocker. Because if any of you that watch my show, if any of you know that this team, those two teams played early in the season, came down to a overtime kick or something like that, and the Titans blocked the kick, man, won the game. And the Titans been on the roll since then, really. You know, this team is hot, man. So I look forward to that being a good game. Look, probably being the best game, one of the best games of the weekend. But nevertheless, man, we got great teams that's left in the game, man. I mean, oh man, it's going down on both conferences, both ends. I think it's a combine of 8 teams left in here, and you have Green Bay, you got Seattle, you got 49ers, and you got Minnesota, all representing the NFC. The AFC, you have the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, the Houston Texans, and the Tennessee Titans, all represent the AFC. Now, hey, those 4 teams on each side, 8 teams all together, are, man, the best thing smoking. Now, don't get me wrong, I am hurt that the Patriots and the Saints are not in there. But nevertheless, man, I think it's a great picture now with those 2 teams out. Because if you really look at it, if you ask me, New England and the Saints were the only 2 teams that I could really see beating those big teams, those big name teams, those teams that's been doing good all year, in the 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, really, honestly, I do feel like we're going to see another 49er Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl. But I've been hearing some little birdies in the sky talking to me. And the word on the street now is that those Chiefs, man, will beat Baltimore in the AFC Championship and move on to the Super Bowl and win it all. Now, this is just something I heard. I'm just a messenger. Don't be mad at me. But I'm hearing a Chiefs 49er Super Bowl, Chiefs winning it all. Hey, I don't know. Me personally, I think it's going to be Baltimore and 49ers, with the 49ers winning it all. That's just my pick. But we'll see. But nevertheless, man, congratulations to all the teams that are still standing, man. Been a job well done. Been a hard-fought season. A lot of injuries. A lot of, ups and downs. A lot of adversity. And you know, we're here. We're still here. Divisional round coming up. It's going to be a great divisional round. I can't wait. I look forward to it, man. I will be dropping another episode later on this week, getting you ready and prepared for those upcoming games, and you know, reaching out to everyone and seeing that who you like and who you're picking for those big games, and we're going to move from there. Now, I want to turn all my attention to college football, man. Yes, sir. It's going down January the 13th in New Orleans at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You better believe Superdome. You better believe it. And it's going down with them LSU Tigers and them Clemson Tigers. Man, listen here. I love LSU. I don't care what you say. I think Joe Burrows and company, man, are ready. They're not playing no games. They're running that pro-style offense. And I just feel like they know what they need to do, and they're going to get the job done. Now, with that being said, I'm not taking none from Trevor Lawrence. I'm not taking none from the Clemson Tigers. I'm not taking none from Dabo. Great team. Still are the champs until they get beat. Still are the champs. Still are undefeated. So you have to respect this team. And I got great and much respect for them. But I just know football. And I just know that them LSU Tigers ain't playing no games, man. Joe Burrows, man, them wide receivers, Jefferson, Chase, that running back. It's just too much, man. It's too much, and I think those boys are going to come out, got a great coach, a confident coach. They're going to come out, they're going to play ball, and they're going to do what they need to do. It's just that simple. But I'm not taking nothing from Clemson. I think Clemson does have the tools, don't get me wrong, to come in there and knock them off now. Because you got to understand, Clemson, boy, they can put some plays and some things together now. I mean, they ain't here for nothing. They ain't, returning champs for nothing now. Let's not forget about that. But what I do think everybody does forget about and don't acknowledge is the fact that Clemson had those great defensive linemen last year. And if you think those defensive linemen didn't play a big part in winning that national championship, you crazy. And you're a fool for it now. You understand me? Because listen here, I've always told, and I truly believe, offense sell tickets, defense win championships. And if you seen that game last year, you will know that Clemson defense won them that game. They shut down Alabama's offense. I mean, we never seen Alabama get dead like that, but they did it. And this was all because of the defense. Man, when you got three great linemen in Wilkerson, Farrell, and I forgot the other dude name that went to Lawrence, Lawrence, that went to the Giants. Man, no, all three of those guys went first round. This is unheard of. 3 defensive linemen in the first round? And we're still talking about Trevor Lawrence? Don't get me wrong, Trevor Lawrence a dog, a beast. Best quarterback in college football, if you ask me. I ain't taking that from Joe Burrows. Joe Burrows is a great quarterback, but he is running a pro-style offense that I feel like is hard to catch on by college kids that's playing defense. This is a offense that's ran in the NFL. So, of course, they're not going to understand it and be able to, adapt to it or get used to it or whatnot, because this is nothing that they're seeing every Saturday. So that's the success that I feel like Joe Burrows is having because of him running that pro-style offense in college. But let's not take nothing from Trevor Lawrence. By far, the best quarterback in college football. Hands down. And I mean that. But I'm not taking that from him. But we have to understand and we have to acknowledge that man had great defensive linemen playing with him last year that caused him to win the national championship. That gave him that ball, kept giving him that ball so he can put those points up on Alabama the way he did. Man, let's not forget that. So collectively, Clemson had a great team last year, but that team is not here no more. Clemson don't have the talent on defense that they once had. Still got Trevor Lawrence. Still got Higgins. Still got Etienne and Ross. But no defense. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that defensive line that was shutting things down, stopping the run, putting pressure on the quarterback. No, they don't have that defense no more. And if you've seen that defense that they got now, look what they allowed. Look what they allowed. I think it's Dobbins, the running back from Ohio State. Look what they allowed him to do. That man had a field day out there, bro. Straight up. You know what I mean? And if he had a field day, you don't want to see what LSU running back gonna do. And then LSU was able to go and blow out Oklahoma, so they didn't really have to play they running back. And their running back has been facing some injuries, and that little break that he got in that game was big for him. And I just think he's gonna be fresh. LSU is gonna be fresh. They're gonna come out, play off the fact that they're in their backyard in Louisiana, New Orleans. And man, they're gonna play ball. They're gonna win the game. So that's how I look at it. It's gonna be a great game, though. Don't get me wrong. It's gonna be one of the most exciting national championships that we've seen in a long time. But at the end of the day, you and I know both who gonna win. LSU, man. Go like the coach say, go Tigers. Go Tigers, man. I'm going Tigers. I'm going LSU to win this one. I'm going for them boys to host that national championship trophy up at the end of the day. And it's all going down to you this coming Monday, coming up the 13th. So be there or be square, you know what I mean? Because it's going down. You know, this is the time of the season where somebody is going to be watching that game. So it's going to be a big game. I look forward to it. Go Tigers. And good luck to the rest of the teams, like I said, in the playoffs, man. It's been a great time talking with you guys, man. Y'all already know what it is. Until next time, hold it down with your boy, Reezy Rome. Like I said, I appreciate all the love. If you looking at this, man, please subscribe. Hit that thing on the bottom of that screen, man. Subscribe to your boy and catch up with the latest updates and everything coming to you each and every week, man. Once again, I'm your boy, Reezy Rome. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing y'all next time, man. Salute. Love, peace, and soul, man. Y'all already know what it is.